Welcome to the Love Clarity Podcast, where you come to heal your relationship trauma and learn to love deeply without losing yourself. Welcome back to the Love Clarity Podcast. Today's guests are powerhouses in the world of physical and emotional transformation. I have Kausar and Doucky here. They are the co-founders of Become Fit Forever, a movement, a mindset, and a method that's helped thousands of women reclaim their bodies, their energies, and their joy, especially in their 40s and beyond. What I love most about these two is how they make fitness feel human. Their podcast, Get Fit in Your 40s, blends hormone-savvy wisdom, real talk, and healing through community. And so today, we're not just talking weight loss or willpower. We're talking liberation. So if you've ever felt stuck in a body that doesn't feel like home to you anymore, if you wrestled with food, fatigue, fear, this one is for you. Kausar, Doucky, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. So let's just get one thing out of the way, because the abbreviation that you have for Become Fit Forever is BFF.
Yeah.
And when I've heard you guys, talk about this, you guys say you were your best friends and this and that. So tell me how the two of you met. What's your story? Was this work born out of love or both born out of the work that you do together? Give it to us. Give us the real deal behind the scenes.
I love that story. I think I can take this one
Okay.
just so you hear my perspective. Of course, thank you so much for the invitation. We're so excited to be in your podcast today. So I met Kausar back my daughter was 1 year old. So that was 2014, around that time. And I met her in a very low point of my life. I was really happy with my baby, but if you're a mom, you know that it is hard just to be a first time mom. I just moved to New Jersey, so I didn't have any friends. It was winter, so very cold. You get a little bit sad, depressed. And also, I was looking for friends and activities to do because I gained some weight after having my baby. So I was looking in internet for a community, and I found Kausar that she was teaching a kid-friendly Zumba classes. I'm sure that you don't know about this story, Sania.
No, I
That's
don't.
how I met Kausar. So I was like, oh my God, kid-friendly. This is perfect for me. I can take my baby. So I went there, and it was like a beautiful studio. And next to the studio, they have a child care. Well, it was like a playroom for the kids to be there. And there it was Kausar's daughter, Sophia. By that time, she was about 3 years old. My daughter was like two. And they immediately started to play. I met Kausar, and that's how we started our relationship. She was my Zumba teacher. We met in those classes, a beautiful community in Jersey City that remain to be our friends so far. So I took the classes with her. I was also taking boot camp classes in Jersey City, and that's how we became friends. After a while, she started a new job. She had the second baby. We weren't like in touch that much. And then one day we reunited. I remember like in the light rail stop. And I say, oh my God, I haven't seen you in years and all of that. And she's like, yes. I say, well, through my own journey, I went back to school, and now I'm a fitness and nutrition expert. So I would like to do something with your students in Zumba classes. And she's like, of course, let's just do something together. And that's how our first fitness challenge was born. We met, and Kausar, she takes action. Like I'm more like hesitant when I have to do stuff, but Kausar is like really about taking action immediately. And she's like, okay, so next week we're gonna launch this challenge. And I was like, are you crazy? She's like, yeah, let's do it. Our community is gonna love it. And we haven't stopped working since then because it was a huge success. And well, we're best friends. I'm so lucky to work with my best friend, almost my sister at this point. Like I talk to her more than with my husband. So
Love
yeah,
it.
she's my sister. She's my wife. We call each other wives, and my business partner and my best friend. So that's the story.
Amazing. That's such a good story. I love it. So tell me, you guys have all of these things that you say, and I've been so excited about getting this time with both of you here in the same room because I meet you and then I get you separately. So I want to get a lot of these questions out. One of my questions is that you say that weight loss isn't really about weight. Okay, so then what is it about really?
Well, we should go deeper. I love that question, actually. We should go deeper when we talk about weight loss because it depends on the stage of life we are, right? So, weight loss for us when we were younger was about just to maybe lose a little bit of belly fat, just to get leaner, just to look cute when you go to the beach, or just to look cute in a dress to go to a party. Uh, then when we wanted to get married, we wanted to fit into our beautiful dress just to keep those memories in our pictures. Now at this age, I'm 44 years old, and we work with women in their 40s or in perimenopause after 35 years old. It is a little bit different when they come and they ask for help and they say, I want to lose weight. It is more than that. It is your body reacting. When you want to lose weight and you're like 10 pounds, 20, 30, 50 pounds, your body's telling you something. When you reach that point, it's like, I need to lose weight, but it's deeper than that. If you are gaining weight rapidly after the age of 40, well, it's because you're losing muscle mass. So that means that you need to get stronger. That means that you need to build muscle. If you're gaining weight after your 40s and you're losing confidence and you're really sad, you're really moody, it's because you're not having enough movement, you don't have energy. So there is like an optimization of your hormones right there. So if you feel that, like really uncomfortable with your life and you feel like exhausted all the time, that means that maybe you're not sleeping enough, or you're not having a sleep that is actually rested. You don't wake up rested. So also, if you feel like, oh my God, you are gaining weight, that means that maybe you are super stressed in your life. You have work, you have teenagers, you have senior parents that you have to take care of. And if you're gaining weight, that means that maybe you are eating one meal a day and then you're binging in the afternoon. Like it is very disorganized because you're not giving priority to your health. So, weight loss, that phrase at this age and time, it is really different than it was when you were in your 20s and 30s. So, of course, when we go through our channels, our podcast, our Instagram, of course, we just say weight loss. But when you come to our program, we tackle all of those things that, of course, as a byproduct, you are going to lose the weight. But we are fixing many things. We actually have some pillars in our program. We go first, create the habits, and then we check how your hormones are, what needs to be optimized, and then we work on the quality of the food that you are consuming and how you're managing stress, sleep, basic things, mastering the basics that you haven't had the time in 40 years to tackle. So that is our take in weight loss at this age.
Yeah. And how are you doing the hormone piece? Is it blood test? How are you doing that? Or is it just reporting on what's going on?
So our bodies are really interesting, especially for women at this age. When you go for a blood work, let's say you feel like crap, because that's what we hear all the time with our clients, right? Like, I don't know what happened. I love the phrase that you said at the beginning of the introduction for the podcast, like your body doesn't feel like home anymore. That is something that we listen, that we hear from our clients all the time. um you go for the blood work, because yeah, my body doesn't feel like home anymore, I feel like crap. And guess what, those tests are gonna come out and they're gonna tell you that are normal, but then you start feeling crazy.
Yes.
So the blood work in all cases are not going to tell you what is happening. Why? Because women's hormones fluctuate from the morning to the night and depending on the phase of the menstrual cycle you are. So we have the follicular phase, we have ovulation, and we have the luteal phase. So if you go for blood work in the follicular phase, more probably it's gonna be like everything beautifully. And then in the luteal phase, depending where you go, it's gonna tell you, yeah, I mean, like it's normal because you're in the luteal phase. But you're feeling like you're in the luteal phase for the whole month, which is like the phase where you feel moody, tired, exhausted, you hate everything, you wanna eat chocolate every single day. That is the luteal phase, right? So we don't perform blood work unless after mastering the basics that I was telling you about, which are automatically is going to optimize your hormones naturally. Because sometimes you don't need a supplement, you don't need HRT, you just need to master the basics. You start feeling better, you're going to optimize the hormones. So we can optimize insulin levels only with walking, eating the right amount of protein, eating the right amount of fiber, eating the right amount of fats. In 3 days, that those insulin levels are going to be optimized. We can reduce cortisol levels by sleeping, breathing techniques, meditation, going for walks consistently. So you don't need always a supplement or HRT in order to optimize your hormones. And I think now the social media and like everyone is taking advantage of these perimenopause and hormones and cortisol, these like clickbait words in order to take advantage of women who are desperate. Which honestly, what we do is like, hey, let's just see your routine. Let's just see what you're eating. Let's see your fitness. Let's optimize what we need to optimize. Let's get organized. If after all of that, consistently for 3 months, we don't see any improvement in your weight, in your quality of life, it's time for you to go to a hormone specialist. And we have one in our team. We have a doctor who is a menopause specialist, and she can prescribe HRT. But she's going to tell you the same. You have to master the basics because HRT alone won't help you. So that's how we do it in our program.
That's really so helpful because, it's so nice just to have that pill that you're going to take. But I am going through HRT and I didn't do, by the way, everything that you said. And it makes me wonder that, how much could I avoid? Because once you get on that bandwagon, then, it's like it's just going to take you where it takes you. So it's so wonderful that you have this. You're like, okay, well, maybe you need HRT. We're not saying it's wrong or bad. We're just saying, hey, how are you going to know? How are you going to know that you need that unless you actually take care of everything else? And it's really beautiful then, in that way, and this is the reason I wanted you guys to come to this podcast because I work with emotions and there's so much more to it. And I really love the depth with which you have gone in working with women in this very precarious time of our lives because you feel like a teenager, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm like, when people are sprouting boobs and hair and just don't know what's going on and you're moody and you're like, oh my God, at least I'm done with that. And here's another weird teenage
And you
years
know
that
what?
come.
Talking about teenagers, not only we're going through it, but also we have teenage kids.
Yes.
So it is a hormonal explosion in every household that we don't know how to manage.
Yes,
So it's
yes. And so I'm gonna, even when you were speaking in the very beginning, telling us your story of how you and Kausar met Doucky, when you both were, I hear this a lot, the community piece. That's what you said you were looking for. And you call your community besties, right? You're like, hi, besties. I'm like, okay, yeah.
we are
How does
besties.
it? So I want to know how does that? I know that you're deliberately creating this sort of like friendship energy circle. So tell me why that's important for the mindset, yours and the people that you serve.
That is something that we're so proud of. I feel like every day I wake up extremely blessed for my job, for my community, and for my best friend and my, I don't, we both not don't have sisters, so we have literally filled that gap for each other. So I consider myself extremely lucky. I love how she shared that story from how we met until now. Um, the name Bestie or BFF, it came about when we were sitting at a restaurant after recording all day of videos for our new program that we were about to launch. And we were just eating, and it was just the four of us, our camera person, and a couple of other friends were just eating at Cheesecake Factory. And I looked at her, I felt it was such a blessing that we just recorded 5 hours of Zumba class that we were going to share on the app with our clients. And so it is all about this, besties, BFF. So it just clicked. We're like, our company is going to be BFF, become fit forever, besties, because also our friendship, how it started, and our daughters are really close friends too. So there's a lot of friendship here. And also for women in this stage of life, you have to build some kind of rapport. It's a very strange place. Let me tell you, I have clients who start opening up as soon as we start working together. I have clients who takes them a few weeks, a few months to open up completely and fully. This is a very uncomfortable sometimes topics to talk about. So the fact that we call it a bestie, and our calls are usually in a group setting, because sometimes you hear somebody else's story and it relates with you and you're like, oh my God, I'm not alone kind of situation. So calling them bestie really opens up that gateway of comfort to some extent. They don't feel like, oh, I'm just talking to a coach. It's a very stiff process. You're a bestie, you're my friend, you're here, you're safe. And that's literally how clients, even followers on our DMs, connect with us with that name, bestie. And it's such a beautiful feeling.
Yes. I remember being on one of these calls and coming to the call like, I'm probably not going to share anything and this and that. And realizing that when I was sitting back, because it wasn't my turn to speak at that time, and when that person who was obviously further ahead of me was sharing, I think that my share was not as important for me and my whatever I was there to learn as much as how helpful it was for me to be able to sit back and watch her do it. I have a school, the School for Transformational Healing, and that's even more invasive, right? So you just talk about here eating, and to be very honest, it's very private. This whole weight thing is very private. It's very weird for women. So, and I love how you guys normalize it. You create a community like that, and I always say that to my people, but you can't actually know how great that is until you actually realize how much you learn from other people.
It's true.
Again,
Like,
the whole bestie culture.
yeah, we are so hard on ourselves. We feel usually that we are broken, that we are doing the things wrong, that we are not progressing as fast as other people, that always like very negative talk. But then when you come to the community, to the calls, you realize it's like, oh my God, I'm not alone on this.
Mhm.
We are going through the same struggles, and you can see people who already overcame the struggles, so gives you hope. You're like, okay, so I'm in the right place. um, I'm gonna get to where she is. So that's why community for us is really important.
Yeah.
It's super
And,
fun.
and one of the episodes, I was watching your podcast, I love it. I've left a beautiful review there because you deserve it. And I was watching this one episode, it was on binge eating, and it really stuck a chord. And I want to ask you that what was it like for you to share that story? And what do you hope more women start to understand about their own healing by sharing these types of things?
So that is again a very personal space. That
Yes.
was not a story that I was able to share publicly. And so in order for us to again create that rapport between women and our community, they need to really truly know that I am not a born coach. I went through all of these struggles that they're going through. And let me tell you, working with women for the last 10 years, I know that a lot of us struggle with binge eating,
Mm.
and it's hard to talk about it. It's very vulnerable. So that was one of the reasons why I was a little bit open and honest about my journey. And so what I want women to understand is that there's a mindset piece, and you're an amazing therapist. You probably already work with people who are struggling with these kind of mindset issues. There's a mindset lane, and then there's a whole chemical journey that is going your body's going through that nobody really talks about. So the whole point of that podcast was that it isn't just you're going to go see a therapist and then you're going to heal those mindset beliefs, those negative self-talk, but there's more to it. So while Doucky and I started working together and I was teaching all these Zumba classes, I was super active. I have 2 kids. Let me tell you, my life was a mess. I had a toddler and a baby, and my day would start with a cup of coffee. And then because I wanted to lose this baby weight. So I was a Zumba instructor, but I didn't have much knowledge on nutrition. I didn't know how to feel my body. So I was running on this cortisol drive from the moment I opened my eyes. Because of course the baby was breastfeeding all night, and it's like very crazy schedule. Wake up, drink my coffee, take my daughter to Gymboree or whatever, go get a croissant, skip lunch, and then at dinner, I would binge on whatever I had in my house. So of course, I had a lot of low self-esteem and like negative self-talk. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't love the clothes that I was wearing. I was a new mom and I didn't have any energy. So the feeling part, but also I wasn't feeling my body. So in the meantime, I started going back to school. So my healing journey really truly started in my 30s when I decided, okay, alongside teaching cardio classes, I need to really educate myself on nutrition and kind of coming out of that diet culture, right? Because the diet culture tells you not to eat breakfast, tells you to intermittent fast, tells you to cut out carbs, tells you all these things and shows you all these images that makes you feel even worse about yourself. And so I kept on doing these diets and it kept on backfiring, and I would binge at the end of the day. So now when I went to school, I had so many aha moments, and I realized how bad was my eating patterns. The fact that I wasn't eating, fueling my body the way I should have been from morning to night, where I felt like my cravings were low, and that chemically I was imbalanced. So it was pairing right therapy, journaling, meditation, really listening to my body, going into nature, right, going inwards helped me a lot with my affirmations, with some of the books and podcasts that I was reading and following. But in the meantime, I had to really do the work, like literally like start from scratch, understand nutrition. And that's where BFF methods started, right? That you need to balance those hormones. If your cortisol levels are not balanced, if you're not managing your anxiety and you're just on this cortisol drive all day long, and you're not, or your insulin levels, your glucose is not balanced, of course you're going to binge at the end of the day. So when I started working on both of those, I was able to find peace.
Yeah. And you know what I hear is, and I, being a coach myself, know that the first client that you always have is you.
Yes.
And I hear that in your journey, and your story is so powerful because we have this misunderstanding that I'm weird, that this is happening just with me. And I'm going to say most of the people I know, including myself, have this binge eating thing, which is so confusing. And it really, we begin to understand how united we are in our pain and our struggles. So it's very, very helpful. What do you think about this whole role of self-love? You guys teach self-love for a living. And once again, it had to come from me teaching myself to love myself. And what is the role of self-love in nutrition? And in just basically getting your health back, because if I say nutrition, it's not your entire service. It's like just doing what you guys do is and help women reach the goals and the idea that they want for their bodies, for their lives.
For the life, yeah. So after working with so many women, We have realized that, especially moms, everyone is taking a piece of you from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. And then it's like almost a never ending cycle. Is your job taking a piece of you, your husband, your kids. If you have multiple kids, oh my God, bless you. Your senior parents. So it is really difficult to be the priority in that on that infinity list, right? Like we call it the garbage list. It's like it's never ending. Always you have to do something. Prepare the birthday for the weekend. Prepare the where are we gonna take the kids for summer camp, and then of course you are the last in that list. That is when self love started to decrease because you're not a priority anymore. You don't even know who you are. You don't even know. You don't ask yourself what you want and what you like. So in our program, what we do from the beginning is self-awareness. We have to start there. What is your favorite breakfast? Do you prefer savory breakfast? You prefer sweet breakfast? I kid you no, Sanya. People are like, in women in our program is like, I don't know, I just grab leftovers,
Mhm.
or I just grab whatever is on in the kitchen, or worse, I just drink coffee and I just go on my day. So what we do is creating that self-awareness of all your routine, your activities. We even have like a beautiful activity that we do is like, let's create your ideal day. What is your idea? Let's just start dreaming about that. And then is when they are like, oh my God, I don't know how my ideal day would be. Like, you don't even dare to dream about it because you don't even have time. So in our program, it's about like, okay, so how would be a successful ideal day would look for you? So they write about it. And then it's like, okay, let's just follow a similar pattern. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be ideal, but at least you know how your ideal day goes. For me, it's different than yours, but it's yours. So it's like, okay, my day is going as I kind of like plan. You have a layout to follow, you have something to pursue. So that is the one thing. Second thing is when I see moms just grabbing whatever to eat, that is not self-love. I want you to sit down and prepare a beautiful plate for yourself. Understand what are the macros that you're eating, how to compose that plate. That is self-love. Self-love is showing up for those promises that you made the day before. If you said that you are going to go for a walk 30 minutes, you have to start making that happen. Because what happens when your husband promises you something and you don't do it, he doesn't do it? You
Yeah, you can't
start
trust him. You
you
get
stop
upset. Yeah.
trusting him, right? So why you're doing that to yourself when you are the most important person in your life? What is the example that you're giving to your kids? So once you start prioritizing yourself and treating yourself with the same respect you treat others or other ones you want to treat you, everything change.
Mhm.
Is when you start saying like setting boundaries. I'm gonna work out. Everyone in this house needs to know that I'm gonna work out and you can no bother me for the next 30 minutes. That is teaching your kids self-love because you're setting boundaries to have your own time. So with our clients, that's what we see. That is one of the part of self-love. The second part is the food component, something more practical. We are fearing about eating a cookie, a pizza, bread all our life, right? Like we're scared of those delicious foods. So we feel guilty and we feel like a failure when we consume those. In our program, what we do is that actually we encourage them to eat their favorite foods. Once they realize they track, right? Like we have a method and you went through it where you track and you're like, the cookie wasn't that bad. Why I was suffering from the cookie? The issue comes when you are restricting the cookie and then you see a package of cookies and then you eat the whole sleeve of cookies,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But that in our program is like about not feeling guilty anymore, giving permission to go and eat pizza with your kids and not feeling bad about it. Making the promises that you made to yourself the day before, following through, showing up for yourself, setting boundaries, all of those actions that you take make our clients to increase their self-love and their confidence. And again, as a byproduct, of course, they're gonna experience fat loss, they're gonna look cute in a dress, but that is a byproduct. It's like healing from within out.
Yeah. And so it's such deep coaching because I'm going to tell you that cognitively when I was working with my own health journey, I totally got it. Like there's nothing wrong with my cognition. I understood these words that what's going to get you to health at this age is going to be the producing or the developing of muscles. To develop those muscles, I get the science that you have to eat protein, you have to do this. But that's one thing to cognitively understand that. It was an entirely other thing when I sat with myself, and I am somebody who helps people learn how to change their mindset. I was so surprised as to how resistant I was and how deeply it was embedded in my psyche that I can't eat all that food. Are you kidding me? I know I'm going to say, yeah, yes, I'll eat all that food, but I'm never going to. Please, my trick is going to be I'll never eat that food. And then you don't make the muscle in because it's literally, you're so used to watching generations after generation, friends and everyone be like, okay, if I eat food, I'm going to be fat. Is it when you do it, it's totally different than just understanding it. And one of the reasons I love your program, the BFF thing, is the hand holding, and you understand because you've done the journey. You haven't forgotten what it was like to be that person on that side. And I really love that you have space for understanding and room for the fact that you might be a woman who's really doing something great in the world, but in this field of wanting to get back to the health that you want, you're gonna look like a baby. You're gonna have to relearn everything that you know because what you know is really not working. So I really love how you guys have patience for yourself. And so to me, the way I'm seeing this is that you guys are changing core mindsets. And the question I have for you now is that what's one belief that you had to let go of in your 40s to step into your own power? And maybe it's different for each of you or it's the same, but what is the belief that you would say was necessary so that you could get to what you teach everybody else to do?
Well, I hit my 40s first. We have the youngest in the party is Kausar. So I'm gonna talk about myself and then she can of course tell you her perspective. But one thing that I have to let go was just focusing on the number on the scale. Because of course, when I was younger, I would be, I don't know, 105 pounds. Uh, Probably I won't be in that number ever again. However, I can look even better. Why? Because my focus should be on building muscle, not only to look cute, stronger, and you know, but also because the muscle is the fountain of the longevity. If God forbid I get sick in the future, muscle is going to help me to recover faster. Muscle is going to help me with my dream that I always say that I want to retire and travel around the world. So I want to be independent and carry that suitcase and put it in the train and in the airplane without any help. I want to be independent. I want to be able to stand up and sit down from the toilet myself. I don't want to be a weight on my daughter's shoulder when I get older. And all of those things are possible when you have the right nutrition and also when you develop muscle mass. Muscle right now is extremely important. Before in my 20s and 30s, I didn't want to get bulky or develop muscle. That was kind of like a negative thing. I don't want to look like a man, right? Now you look at men, not all men look like we want the men to look like
Unfortunately,
which
not the
men are you
heterosexual
talking?
ones.
Yeah, which men are you talking about? What type of men? But right now, if there is something I'm obsessed about, is about developing muscle. And it's that um, mindset of abundance. In order for me to build muscle, I need to eat more protein. I need to sleep more because the muscle mass is built when you're sleeping. So I need to eat more protein. I need to sleep more. I need to drink more water because creatine makes you thirsty. That is one of the supplements that we
Yeah.
take in order to develop muscle mass. I have to walk more. So all of those concepts that I had before, it's like I have to eat like a bird. I have to eat a little bit because
No.
I want the smaller number on the scale. It is really hard to sustain because nobody thrives on restriction. Nobody. So for me, it is more sustainable to think about abundance. I want more. I need to eat more carbs to have energy to lift weights. I need more protein. I need to lift heavier. So everything is big and I like it more. So I think that has been the beliefs that I have to change when I hit my 40s.
Wonderful. That's so helpful, Dookie. And what about you, Kausar? What is something you had to change? Which belief did you have to let go of?
Well, I'm not 40 yet, but I have a lot of clients and I've had the privilege of, having this program. So I know there's one thing that I want women over 40 to stop doing immediately is to stop looking outwards. Your goal is not, you're not going to find the solution outside. Now we have Instagram. People are searching their solutions by swiping and they keep on feeling bad about themselves. ChatGPT is out, like everyone is using that. It's in your finger. Everyone is trying to look outside to find a new solution for their problem. The you need to go inwards. The inwards is where we're going to really truly find true peace. Ask yourself, what is it that I want? What is my goal? Where do I want to be? Do I really want to look and be like that model that I follow on Instagram? Unfollow those people because it's not doing good to your soul. It's making you feel worse about yourself. That is not the place where you want to start. Like Duki said, small, 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 like that's the mindset. Now we have these people that we personify, like, I want to be like her. Why can't I be like her? And we go on ChatGPT or we go on social media to try a new diet, and there's injections now, there's pills now, there's you look for something and you're bombarded by the ads. The amount of, attention grabbing big pharmaceutical companies who are trying to make money off of your insecurities. The only way you're going to find that solution is going inwards. Talk to yourself, understand what your mindset, your beliefs are, and kind of work with that. For me, it was, again, I was binge eating. I wasn't okay. I felt like crap about myself all day long. And when I went really deep with the help of my coach or therapist at that time, I really didn't like myself. I didn't love myself. I had all these negative beliefs and ideas that I had created in my head that I want to be like this person. Why can't I be? Right. So you need to kind of unpack, unlayer all of that mess in order to get in the bottom of your true goals. And your true goal after your 40s is, again, building muscles and working towards longevity and sustainability.
So your belief that you had to let go of is that when you have an issue that you're trying to resolve inside, the solution is not outside, to not compare and to manage your energy and to maybe even unfollow some people so that you can take the attention that's going out and bring it back to yourself and feed yourself with it. And Dookie's is that to not watch that number on the scale, that's not it, that what you need now is different from what that 105 on the scale is, and to work to understand that you are going to have to eat the bird eating that we had, all of those mindsets about this number has to be on the scale, to challenge those, that this is how much I have to eat, bird like eating, as you said, that none of that is. So you literally, it's like, starting afresh, letting all of that go.
Yeah. It's a process just to reprogram our brain and yeah, as Kausar said, it's kind of like is the weight loss is not only about changing your habits about what you eat and what you do to exercise. It's also about what you consume.
Yes.
what your eyes, what your ears
Yes.
are listening to.
Yeah, not just consuming with your mouth, but your energy and you're taking in what you're watching. Okay, wonderful. And so, would you finish this sentence? People think fitness is about blank, but it's actually about this. What would you say?
So I would say fitness, people think that fitness is about having a six pack,
Mhm.
right? Like, oh, she's really fit because she looks like that. But actually is how healthy and confident you feel.
Ah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Do you have one too, Kausar, or you want to just
I
settle it?
just I just love that one. I think that's
Okay, let's
the
stick
motto.
with
That's
that.
our biggest motto at BFF.
That's
Yeah, you
beautiful.
don't
I
have to have a
love
six
that.
pack. Yeah, you don't. I mean,
It's
we
like
welcome
it,
the six pack, but
It's like, and that's why I wanted to have you ladies over because there is a way that you guys do this that's very aligned with the way I work as well. And it's not really about, this surface type of stuff. And it's like redefining the new thin, the new beautiful. I had to redefine richness for myself. Richness is not about the amount in my bank account. If you play that game, there is no end to trying to not have a low balance and wanting to have a high balance. That journey never ends, and the richness then becomes of experience, of connection, of maybe having time to do those things like feed yourself the way you want, take yourself for a walk, sit in the sun, like those types of things. And so it's just gorgeous how you guys are in a space where there are so many people who are listening to you, and you ladies are redefining what it means to be fit, to be beautiful. So
thank you.
you're very welcome.
It's a beautiful purpose of life. Like
Yeah.
Be Fit Forever and our community is
Yeah.
our purpose, is what makes us wake up every morning with a smile when we read the messages of our clients. How literally it's not about the number on the scale, it's about changing life from within.
Okay. And what is the truth about healing? Or physical healing or emotional healing that
But
took you way too long to figure out? What's something that really took a while? Because give it to us because we'll just learn it and we'll skip the line.
I think emotional learning, emotional undoing some of the mindset beliefs, some of the beliefs that in the 80s, we were bombarded with the diet culture. And it's still going. It's not like it has stopped. And thankfully, this generation has learned enough to pass down the right type of information to our next generations. So kind of undoing all of those beliefs, all the neural pathways. And again, you thanked us, but I truly want to thank you for your work that you do. Kind of looking inwards, finding that self-love, getting rid of those negative beliefs, those negative mindsets is where the true transformation can begin for everyone.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And what is something that you want every woman listening to whisper to herself when she's having a hard day?
you're exactly where you need to be.
Thank
That's
you.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And if someone's ready to take the first steps with you, they listen to that, they're like, oh my God, this is my jam. So where should they start?
They can find us on our Instagram, become.fitforever. And we are also offering a complimentary 30-minute clarity call with whoever that's interested. But if you are somebody who is fascinated by this episode and would like to get in touch with us, please go on to our Instagram and send us a DM. We're always there to take care of you.
Yes, and the Instagram is so entertaining anyway. These ladies and their gorgeous figures are sometimes eating pizza. They're quick recipes that I'm like, okay, wait, pause. What was that? That was too fast. Okay, I need to know. So it's very entertaining anyway, and it's so lovely. But you have a podcast, and the podcast is really good. So there are all of these ways to learn, and I mean, the 30 minutes of complimentary call. Yes, that sounds just right. So just wanted to, thank you both for sharing your wisdom, sharing things with us so freely, so openly that have taken you a lifetime of not only work on yourself, to do, but then to work with so many people. My understanding is that you have helped 1,000+ women
Correct.
reach their goals and their journeys, and you have journeyed through this, and everything is coming through your experience. So I just really want to thank you for the generosity and the level of sharing. And I myself, in this time that I've spent with you, it feels like a personal consult. I feel very inspired, very energized. And I know for a fact that anybody who listens to this, there is so much here, so much richness here, and all of your words and the work that you do, that I just want to thank you for your full presence and your generosity.
Oh, thank
Thank
you. You made our days. We love you, bestie.
Bila, I love you too. Both besties. And so much love from me to anyone who's listening, from Kausar, from Doucky. So we're all three of us are going to take our turn, say goodbye, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, ladies.
Thank
Okay.
you.